About 3.5 million doses of COVID vaccines have been administered here, and the federal government says Australia will be able to receive about 2 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine each week from October. That means potentially all Australians who wish to be vaccinated will be able to receive their shots before the end of the year. Here's the host of the Coronacast podcast and of the Health Report on our end, Norman Swan. Hi, Norman.
Hi, Ros.
So it looks like if you want to wait for the Pfizer vaccine, you can. Whether you should or not is another thing. But doesn't this kind of muddy the vaccine hesitancy waters more?
Yeah, but to be honest, they're also dreaming. I mean, to be able to deliver that volume of vaccines compared to the volume we're delivering now is enormous. And they really are rollout for that to be, to be realistic. I mean, 200,000 doses of vaccine a day, which is 1 million a week, is roughly where what America achieved at its peak. Now, we haven't come anywhere near that yet. And we'd have to, and what they're saying is it's going to be double that. I mean, that's just not going to happen. So my view is that for what it's worth, and also you're going to be at the back of the queue if you're over 50, behind 12-year-olds. Because at that point, we're going to be immunising 12 to 50-year-olds. And we're going to, people over 50, I'm pretending I'm over 50, are going to be behind the 12-year-olds. So, and if we don't actually amplify our vaccination rollout through pharmacies and wherever else you can get it, and really ramp it up to be huge, then you're probably well into 2022 before you're going to be immunised. So you want to get covered? People in Melbourne are seeing this outbreak now. Get covered as soon as you can with the Astra vaccine, and younger people to Pfizer. And then with the Astra vaccine, the option is quite likely to be get a booster, a single dose of Pfizer later on in the year. And that's going to be much easier to administer. And that will give you, on current evidence from Britain, that will give you a bigger boost to your immunity than 2 doses of the Pfizer. So get some coverage with Astra now, which is not that bad, and then boost it with Pfizer later in the year, just a single dose.
Do you get any sense of a change of appetite through your work with Health Report and with the Coronacast podcast, and the appetite for people to get a jab, be it AstraZeneca or...
Yeah, we're looking at that tonight on 7:30, and the evidence is that it's more complicated than you might think. It varies according to where you live in Australia, what language you speak, what your cultural tradition is. Also, just simple things like, do I understand where I can get the vaccine? And the stories that you hear, well, I'll phone up my GP and I can't get it at all, and they're only getting 50 doses a week. Clarity and simplicity of where you can get it is actually going to increase the uptake of the vaccine, irrespective of the smaller group of people who want to wait for Pfizer. So there are people who want to wait for Pfizer, and that's fine, but it may not be till 2022 when you get it.
What was your reaction when you heard the news about these 2 likely cases in Melbourne? Here we go again.
Here we go again. Hopefully it's not the circulation from the man who arrived from South Australia, because that could be potentially quite serious, where there's been significant community spread and you haven't noticed it because of people not socially distancing and maybe circulating amongst younger groups. So let's just wait and see whether there are real infections. But it's potentially quite scary. And remember, this is the Indian variant. The man coming from South Australia, it was the Indian variant, or one of the Indian variants. So it is potentially worrying.
What do we know about how vaccines operate against that variant, the Indian variant?
News from Britain over the weekend suggested that with 2 doses of the Astra or Pfizer, the Astra and Pfizer vaccines work almost a little bit down, but mostly just as well as they do with the British variant. And the Astra is behind Pfizer in terms of its performance, but that's another reason for thinking about a Pfizer booster later in the year if you've had the 2 Astra vaccines.